Fore presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. It is February 11th, 2021. I say that only because February 10th is my brother's birthday. So happy birthday to my brother. My brother is really the main reason that I'm as into golf as I am. So happy birthday to my brother. Big debate. I think he's 38. So he was trying to claim like late part of his mid 30s. We were all like late 30s. Then he starts chirping me about how I'm like mid 30s, I'm 34, and it's like, well, I'm trying to claim low 30s. So it's a whole thing. But anyways, happy birthday to my brother. We got a lot to get to. We've got the rangefinder situation, another from the outside extremely dumb and small thing that on the inside everyone is taking sides and bickering about and arguing about in the golf world, which is like rangefinder. So we're going to get into the rangefinder debate. We got a bunch of good from the galleries. First of all, Owens Mixers. Do yourself a favor. Go to Amazon. Go to owensmixers.com. Get yourself Transfusion Mix. It's delicious. We taste tested it. We love it. We get tweeted, Instagram all the fucking time because it's really good. People enjoy it, and you should enjoy it. So they've got many, many other flavors other than just the Transfusion, even though that's our favorite. Mint cucumber and lime, grapefruit and lime, tonic and lime, a lot of good stuff. So big thanks to Owens. Reminder that you can go to Amazon. You're probably familiar with Amazon. Big company, huge company. They just bring stuff right to you. Sometimes same day, next day. It's a great company.
Bezos no longer the CEO, right? After
this, up and down, yeah.
Up and down. I think he's still just going to make a shit ton of money, though. I think his just day-to-day stuff is changing.
I think he's going to get himself in a situation where he's still going to make a ton of money. That would be my guess.
Be surprised if he didn't. Very surprised. Yeah. I was looking at Elon Musk, who we interact with quite a bit. Well, Dave does. That guy. I mean, he went from I don't know how these guys are in such a fake astronomical amounts of money world, but he went from worth like 70 or 80 billion, which is a lot, to worth like 200 billion in a couple of years, which he went from, like top 20 or whatever it is to like number one richest guy in the world. And then one bad day on the stock market and they go down like 30 billion. It's fucking nuts what goes on with these guys.
It is always like it'll be, Elon Musk is now the newest, richest man in the world. And then 3 days later, it's like, no, Bezos is actually back up there.
What's crazy is people are sleeping on Putin. And I know Barstool Chief has talked about this, but that dude has $1 billion house. I saw this on Dog Walk the other day. Him and Eddie, Chief and Eddie were talking about, by the way, great podcast. They just talk about, they do some crazy fucking, like they break down the craziest shit in the world sometimes. And like they put out these clips on social, and Chief is talking about these crazy things. He said Putin has $1 billion house, $1 billion household. And here comes Lurch with his fucking Star Trek background in the middle of my story. He joins this fucking podcast. He's inside a fucking hangar.
Oh, shut up. We moved it around for your dumb ass.
So we're talking about Vladimir.
Job, you fucking piece of shit. All right, number 2. Here we go. Now you cut me off. The second thing that I was going to say about that is he has hundreds of billions of dollars, people think, because he just takes the money from like the government and just uses it for his own. Like that's technically his worth and his money to just spend.
Listen, I don't know much about Vladimir Putin, but I feel like he's gotten to the level where the money doesn't necessarily matter. He's so powerful in Russia that he doesn't need money. Money ceases to exist when you have as much power as he does.
Right. Buy lunch?
Well, what?
Does Putin buy lunch? Like, does he go and just spend money on things?
Things are just provided.
Yeah. Putin has he might as well, Frankie, he might as well have, if you just took the total amount of money that the Russian government has, that is how much money Vladimir Putin has.
You know, when Subway spokespeople, they get the Subway Platinum card and everything. If they go to Subway, they can get anything they want for free. Putin has that in Russia, but for everything.
And I'm pretty sure he has like 3 different palaces, and he commutes to the Kremlin a different way all the time so that people don't know his route and can't get after him. But I will also say that I'm pretty scared right now because Russia, they're pretty, they're always hacking it. Like if they can hack into the U.S. government and banks and stuff, do you know what the blockade system is like for foreplay? Like they could just erase us from Earth.
Yeah,
so I'm
100% public, so they can get it quickly.
We're not in any way here to Vladdy. If you're listening, we're not political. Whatever your thing is, like, fine. Just let us play golf and talk about golf and love Tiger Woods. That's everything's fine.
I like Semyon Varlamov. He's a Russian goalie for the New York Islanders. He shut out the New York Rangers the other night. He is a brick wall when it comes to the Broadway.
Sergei Fedorov with the white Nikes. Love. Oh,
I'm not a big fan of what's going on over there in Russia. I'm not going to say that I condone what's going on, but I do want to say that there are a couple people that come out of that country that I do enjoy.
That's what I was going to say. It's not going out on a limb to say Vladimir Putin, bad guy.
Yeah, bad guy.
I mean, I don't know if Varley's a hell of a goaltender. I don't know if he's a great guy.
No, he's done some stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done some awful stuff.
not a hockey podcast. Also, not a global relations podcast. So
no.
But I agree. There's we're anti-corruption. So it's that we could say that we don't like corruption. Wherever that places us in the geopolitical realm, fine.
To get onto a Russian fucking talk here, but when we're talking about the richest man in the world, I do think people are sleeping on Vladimir Putin. I do think he just has more money than anyone can understand.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I don't
think he's on the Forbes list because they just don't know how to compute how much money he has.
I read something one time. I read like a profile on Putin that was fascinating, and the biggest nugget I took out of it was that Putin's like a big sleep-in guy. Like he sleeps in late.
I think imagine waking him up and he's tired.
But I mean, KGB president of Russia, who's like this savage, I think he's up at 4 a.m. ready to conquer the world. They were like, yeah, he sleeps in until 10 or 11 a lot of the time and then just meanders his way over to the Kremlin.
Right. Every other billionaire you hear about, they're up at 4 a.m. They run 10 miles before 6 a.m. and they're just making deals. Putin, he's hitting the snooze 15 times and waking up right before lunch.
I'm pretty sure, according to Chief, like they're revolting over there in Russia. The people over there have had enough, and if he's just sleeping in and just doesn't care, I mean that's just a very Putin thing to do. So.
I would assume right now he's up early. He's this Navalny guy. I listened to a whole podcast on this guy. Dude, this guy got poisoned to the point where he nearly died. They tried to kill him, and then he goes off to I think Germany, and then on his own will decides to come back a year and a half or whatever later once he's recovered. And then they divert his airplane to a different airport where they just take him, clearly, like that was obviously going to happen. And now Russia's like in full revolt. And this stuff always cracks me out is the Russian media reported that around 500 people are like protesting, and it's like hundreds of thousands, if not millions across the country. So they can kind of do and say whatever they want, which is not funny. It's terrible. But the long story short is that we are anti-corruption on this podcast. And that's it. Luckily, Russia doesn't really dip into the golf world very often. So you've probably never heard us talk about Russia before.
Are there any good Russian golfers? Have there been?
I was just trying to think.
I don't think they have golf. I don't know golf is a thing. Where are you going to golf?
Very weird. In some European countries, you have to be like a certain handicap to even be allowed to play,
Germany's like that.
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's like how. So if I'm not an 8, I can never play golf. Well, how do I ever get to an 8? Like this sucks. This is a stupid world. If I can't, I don't start as an 8.
You have to go through training programs, and then you have a test round, I think, and you have to. And then if you do, you get basically a license to golf in the country. It's wild.
I just Googled best Russian golfer, and it might as well send me to a 404 error page. There's just nothing on it.
I wish you just said Putin. Because the highlights of when he plays hockey against other people, it's like the party in the state. Like nobody will even touch him, and then he scores on Varley or whoever.
Well, it's like when Kim Jong plays golf. He's like, I shot 18 over 18 holes.
Dude,
what do you want?
When I used to blog about politics, I remember every couple months it would pop up that I'd have to blog Vladimir Putin plays in a really important hockey game, scores 8 goals in 11-2 rout. It's and then it was great. They watch. He's out there with Ovechkin and stuff, but he's the leading scorer. So that's just sort of what they do in that part of the world.
Remember that time he tripped over the red carpet and people just probably got murdered because of that? He was around waving to all the crowd, and he just skated over the red carpet that was going out to center ice, and he fell. And everyone shrieked in horror that Putin was on the ice. And he got up, and you just know people were getting thrown into the Zamboni machine.
Yeah, I think it's probably best we drop Putin conversations. Yeah. I don't think we should talk about him anymore, honestly.
Dude, Putin.
A lot of Putin talk. It's a lot of Putin talk.
Dude, Putin kills people in DC. He kills people in London.
He's a fucking scary dude, man.
Right.
So very
I
scary.
don't even. I think we can cut that out. I don't want. This is public. Like that gets to him, and he's like, I could just delete these guys from ever talking about me again.
Bring it, bro. I mean, come on.
Bring it, bro.
Taking out Frankie Borrelli, he's got more important things to be worrying about than fucking me sitting in a Torrey Pines on top of 18 talking about Vladimir Putin on a podcast.
Putin also he's a huge dog guy. He's got those huge dogs. You've seen those pictures of him like playing with his dogs?
Yeah.
They're huge. They look like fucking Siberian wolves. He's got these crazy.
I don't know much about Russia. Doesn't Russia have just like a crazy amount of like stray dogs and like they were all dying out there after the Olympics?
Probably.
Yeah, it's a bad place out there.
Bad. Again, I'd say the bottom line on our Vladimir Putin talk, bad guy.
I think someone like in the NHL the other day, maybe it was Kuznetsov, one of the Russians got coronavirus and said he was starting to get symptoms, and they asked him like, "Were you nervous?" And his response was, "I'm from Russia."
It was him. It's an awesome line.
I'm from Russia. So.
Yeah.
It's like you could talk like Putin's a really bad guy, but there are people that I mean the NHL is filled with Russians, so I mean it's not that bad a place. It's just they have a fucking corrupt, crazy leader that's probably going to murder us all on this podcast.
There's one old highlight tape, and I know we're not a hockey podcast, but it's, I think, of the 1980 Russian Olympic team. And the defensemen, there's trees that are lined up, and the defensemen are doing a dry land training, and they are literally pretending to backskate and throwing their whole body into a tree. And then they jump into that one, and then they go into the next one. And that is literally their off-season training where they're throwing like hip and shoulder checks into trees.
It's like going through a fucking lesson with George Gankis. That's what it feels like.
There are these videos of this guy Tarasov, and like as he got older, he was like this old, fat Russian guy. And he's called like the father of Russian hockey. He basically established the Soviet Union national team, and there's all these videos on YouTube of him making these like kids or whoever was like in the development programs like doing like tumble salts and like getting hit by bricks and like throwing pieces of weight at them to like the most unorthodox style of getting ready to play for hockey. But that's why these kids like grew up to just be absolute fucking machines, and they just dominated these young US players for years upon years because they were young kids. And then that's why obviously the Miracle was such a great game. But yeah, it's crazy. Watch some of these videos like back in the day. This dude's just walking around in like a tracksuit, just throwing shit at people. It's nuts.
Little hockey history lesson here on the Foreplay Golf Podcast. Here, what you're going to get. Okay, enough Russian talk. Tommy Fleetwood, a little housekeeping. We're going to go from Russia to Tommy Fleetwood, but the One Club Challenge where he plays a par 5 against us with a lob wedge. We have full bag. That's up on YouTube. Great video. Awesome job by eBug, by Brendan, by Jake out there filming, by Frankie, who has a good hand in the production staff. So awesome job by everybody. Video is really, really good. So go check it out. And the George Gankis lesson is still up there. That's going to be evergreen. That's going to live forever. But I'm probably getting more messages than I've ever gotten about people are sending me pictures and videos of themselves in front of mirrors and shit in their houses looking preposterous. I mean, looking ridiculous. But that's the name of the game. That's what it's like.
The way he approaches teaching the swing is just so preposterous. Like the way he grabs your hips. I don't know how many times has he gotten hit in the face by a club? I mean, he's just right in the mix and tells you to swing fully. I mean, what if you step the wrong way or you swing outrageously wrong and you just clip him?
And you don't have any time. Like he's just like, okay, now swing. And you're like, no, but you're behind me. Like I'm going to kill you with my golf club. But then he's like, no, what are you waiting for? Go. And then you swing. And he's like, nope, you didn't get your shoulders. And I'm like, but you just told me, I don't even remember what we're talking about. And so the whole thing was happening extremely fast, but I think that's what he wants. Like he actually looked at me once. I was like, dude, there's a million things going on. And he's like, there's nothing going on. What do you mean? And I'm like, well, like you're telling me my fucking hips need to basically rotate like faster than the speed of light. And then my shoulders need to be open and they're closed. And my eyes need to move left before contact. So I'm going to be looking at the sky, trying to hit the ball. Meanwhile, all that's going on while all you just told me to do was like, swing real quick, swing. And I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, it seems like a lot, but then he also boils it down to you in a way it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, if I just rip my hips around, but instead of sliding, I rotate and I open my shoulders, then like the club face is going to be square. It's going to have nowhere else to go but impact the ball with more shaft lean. And it's going to have, so like it makes sense. But in real time, people were hitting me up like, dude, are you like, you see in those distance, your game's sicker now? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? From 30 minutes with Gankis on video? Like, you think I got better? I need to go to the range for a year and a half straight before I can do anything. Like, What are you talking about? Is my game better? So
him getting you to impact zone was phenomenal. Him like, and then you were like this, and he was like, absolutely not. Like you just did, like you bumped your hip, you didn't rotate, like, and then you're just like, you're trying to hold it with your legs, and it looked like somebody, you know, I don't know, like when you get graduation photos and they tell you to like hold your knees, look down, up and across. I don't know if you ever had to do that, but like it's just the most awkward, uncomfortable experience of your life. And then you're like this. And then he's like, yeah, like that. And you're like, well, I can't recreate this. Like you just basically put my body in like a little lap. I can't do this again.
Yeah, I would say it was equivalent to like, you know, you've walked a certain way your whole life. Like since you were 1 year old, you've walked a certain way. And then if someone came in and just tried to completely change the like fundamental way that you walk, you'd be like, well, like, no, this is like, well, I don't even think about walking. I just walk. Like, how am I going to now tweet? It's that uncomfortable where you're like, I don't even know. Like, not only can I not do what you're saying to do, but I don't even like want to, because my body is so against what you're doing that like, well, how about I just live in this little comfort circle here that I've been in for a long time, and we'll shoot 82 and that's great. Like you want me to fucking completely retort my body. It's just the whole thing was a lot, but he's right. I mean, he's correct. And
I love if you walked off the, I don't know, like the teaching fairway there and are just like, I don't want to do these changes. Like, I'm just going to go back.
Yeah. It does bring up an interesting point where you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, how good do I want my golf game to actually be? Like, if I just want to shoot 82s, like, that's kind of a nice life. What do I want to try and be scratch? I don't want to go too far outside my comfort zone where I have to, like, rip my hips a bunch of the time. Like, that doesn't sound all that fun.
And like, if I could just do it properly, then yes, I would make those changes. But that's thousands of hours, I would guess, of like hardcore focusing on your motion and your biomechanically changing how your body moves. Like that's I have shit to do. I have to talk to you clowns about golf.
Yep.
Like I have stuff to do. So that's, I don't know. Like you can, yeah. Am I standing in my apartment at night for like 30 minutes now, like trying to rip my hips around like a crazy person? Of course. But overall, like it's hard when you don't know exactly what it's going to take to get to the result that he wants. And when it doesn't happen quickly, right? It's like when you go work out. Like if you go do one side, like solo workout, that doesn't do anything. You have to work out for fucking 6 months straight or you're going to get nothing.
Right. We were talking about this on Cutting Stems, the Bachelor After Show, about Tyler Cameron. He made an appearance the other night on the show. A lot of people listening to this show right now are not going to know what's going on right now. But Tyler Cameron, the way he looks, he looks like a supermodel. You've all seen him. He's been in the Barstool office. And I asked the question, he wasn't there, so I didn't get an answer. But I was like, how much time out of my day would I have to work out and commit to eating well and working out? And it's got to be like 23 out of the 24 hours of the day to look like that. And that's just too much. Like, I can't look like that. I mean, I don't put forth any effort to it as of right now. But like the golf swing is the same thing. Like, it really depends on how much you want to put into it. That's how much you're going to get out of it. And if you can't see the finish line, like shooting, you know, in the low 70s, mid 70s all the time, you're just like, fuck this.
Yeah, certainly no more Swedish fish at night or Sour Patch Kids hanging out in the bed. That's for sure.
It goes very deep. And I actually talked something about this yesterday. We're out here at Torrey Pines. We're doing some filming. We're getting some great stuff out here, by the way. And then we had this audio guy, and audio guys are a fucking weird breed, man. Like something's like just different about them. They just listen to people talk all day, and I just think it does something to them. This guy is super nice that's with us, but he just started conversations that were just like whatever. He was just out there, man. And we have him today and tomorrow, so hopefully he doesn't hear us. But
hopefully you're not mic'd up right now.
No, I'm not. But we were talking about something, and I like ordered some chicken sandwich for lunch, and we're all sitting around this fire pit, like eating lunch right here at Torrey at the lodge. And he I'm eating a shitty fucking lunch, like fucking bacon on it. It's on some toast and there's butter and it's a chicken sandwich, whatever. And I had 2 Pepsis, and he said something like, wow, a lot of sugar, like under his breath. And we're talking about like what sugars do and salt. And he's like, he's basically talking down to me, saying salt and sugar makes you expand. And he did this with his face, dude, with his hands on his neck. He went out. He goes, expand.
Universal sign for you have a fat neck.
A fat moon face. And this guy has no idea who we are. He didn't even know what Barstool was. He's like, oh, you guys sell furniture? Like, he had no clue. And he fucking was just telling me, like, this is why you have a fat face. Like, what you're eating in front of me right now, this one meal is going to set you back a week's worth of like your body, like breaking down these fats and these sugars and these salts. He's like, he goes, he's like fucking talking down to me. He's like, do you ever have to pee really bad at night? I'm like, yeah, sometimes. Like, I have to fucking go to the bathroom. He's like, that's your body screaming for help that you've had way too much salt and way too much sugar, that it just needs to fucking flush stuff out and get more like water in. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna fucking fight you here. Like, I'm getting like a little chubby. I don't know, like, who are you? Number one, and number two, like, why are you telling me all this stuff? He basically said I was gonna have diabetes by the time I was 30. He said I'm on the track of diabetes by having 2 Pepsis.
Was he in
Did
shape?
he just message you, or how did that come about?
He said he had diabetes, so he knows everything about it. I don't know.
I'm just, how did that story trigger? I
Looked at me and like, under his breath was like, that's a lot of sugar. I was like, what do you
Frankie,
mean?
is he in shape?
Yeah, kind of. He's like one of these like older San Diego guys that like rides his bike from fucking Palo Alto down to fucking Black's Beach, fucking San Andrea, whatever.
San Bernardino, man.
Bernardino Boulevard, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck this guy is. He wears those bike outfits.
You know what he should be wearing? Peter Millar.
There you go.
My newest obsession in the shoe game, by the way, is the MG4 Plus from G4. G4s are awesome. I mean, they're just the best shoes in golf by far. Every tournament that we go, actually every Barstool Classic that we do, everyone's rocking the G4 Gallivanters. They got all kinds of different colors. New obsession is the MG4 Plus from G4. They came out with the MG4.1. It was a hybrid shoe that you can wear on the course or off the course. Then they took that shoe style, created a true golf shoe out of it, which is what I'm wearing now. You're going to see it in my videos because it's phenomenal. G4 will give you 10% off your first order if you go to g4.com/4. Again, 10% off your first order. I love the MG4 Plus from G4. You get 10% off at g4.com/4.
Dude, do they have a patent on that bubble technology that's in the shoe? They're the only ones to use it, and everyone should.
They're fucking awesome.
I was wearing G4s around, and it was like more of like the track shoe. I don't know what the number is. It says 4 on the inside. The whole thing, it's yellow on the bottom. I don't know. They're one of the new ones. I wish I had the box to see what it is because it's the most comfortable shoe in the world. But the guy's like, oh, do you love those G4s? Like, I keep seeing them all around. I'm like, bro, you have no idea what it feels like to be standing with this bubble pattern in the sole. Like, I equated it to like, you know, when you like go ice skating for the first time in a long time, or even when you get like a new golf shoe, sometimes like these like really hard new shoes, when you walk on them or you skate for the first time in a long time, your feet just aren't conformed to it and they hurt really bad like halfway through the day, and especially the next day they're super sore. You do not get that in the slightest, even with like brand new leather on these really like high-end expensive ones, where you would think you'd need to like kind of work it in. For some reason, the soles are so fucking good. They're so like revolutionary. You feel like you're wearing shoes that you've had for 20 years. It's crazy.
Everybody should have.
Couldn't agree more. Put that in the show. Put that in the show. That's just the truth about G4. We thought we were done recording. I unplugged my mic.
I couldn't tell. Was that part of the ad read, Frankie?
I unplugged my mic, but put that in. That's just genuine talk about G4.
The bubble soles, it is like it's the comfiest sole on the market. I mean, that thing makes a big man just smile.
Leader in the space.
G4.com/4. G4.com/4. 10% off. But yeah, the Genghis lesson, go check that out. It might turn your brain into a pretzel, but a lot of people found it very informative, which we are, we like to make people laugh. We like to be entertaining. We like to get laughed at on the internet a good amount. So when we can throw something at you like the Tommy Fleetwood bunker video or the George Genghis lesson, trying to get you a little informative too. Golf's an extremely unique sport in that pretty much everyone that's a fan of it plays it. And when you play it, you want to get better all the time. Instructional stuff's huge. We are not necessarily nuts and bolts guys when it comes to golf. So working with people who are and who do it in a compelling way apparently resonates. So go check that out. You'll probably learn something. And it's just entertaining, like Lurch said, to watch how uncomfortable my body looks doing things that are supposed to be proper biomechanically. Okay. Headlines. PGA of America announced yesterday, which was Tuesday, that they will permit and allow distance finding devices, aka rangefinders, at all of their majors this year. This has revealed what is the most annoying thing about the golf community, which is that, half the people are like, hell, yeah, great, sensible decision, no problem. The other half are freaking out, losing their minds. I keep seeing the line, which makes me want to fucking puke, vomit. The line that it's going to take out some of the artistry of the game, which they are referring to walking around a fucking fairway and stepping off from a sprinkler head that happens to be marked the yardage directly to the pin. I'm clearly for this. I do think it'll speed up play. Also seeing arguments that it'll slow down play, which I'm ready to refute. But overall, I think it's just a no-brainer. Fine. They use them in practice rounds. It just is quicker. It gives you a distance quicker to the pin instead of having to do math and all this other shit. So I think, yep, great. Allow them. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree. I think I'm interested. I would have said like the knock against it was scores will potentially be lower because like I feel like sometimes the player will say, yeah, the caddy gave me great numbers all day long and just felt comfortable. So I feel like it might lower scores in aggregate, but yeah, the idea of like caddies walking around 62 paces off the front. I mean, there's no way to me that it slows down play by any means. And I think it's a no-brainer to add distance rangefinders.
That was the pace of play thing for me because I saw the main argument I saw was about pace of play all day yesterday. And it's like, do we know? What evidence do we have either way, I guess? I don't think it'll slow down play. I think it'll probably speed up play. But the main like fury that I saw was like, this is going to slow down the game like crazy. When it's like, I don't know. We don't have evidence of that, I don't think.
Well, my thinking on that is like, so one of the arguments is I was like, oh, this is going to add a data point to the calculations and thus slow down play. Well, no, it's not. They already have that data point. The distance directly to the pin, they already use. It just takes them longer to get it. They fucking walk around and then they do calculations from like the middle of the green to their pin sheet, where the pin is in relation, do a little bit of adding or subtracting and get to that number. Now, pull out a rangefinder, zap it, boom, you have that same data point that they already use. It just takes them longer to get to that point. And you could argue that about the top lip of a bunker or a tree in the distance. Like instead of pulling out a book and then having to find the tee box and then find that little line, then do some math, you just zap it, right? So they're not now like adding all sorts of things that they want to know the distance to that they previously didn't want to know. They still want the same fucking information. They can just get it quicker with a rangefinder. Why do you think they use them in practice rounds? Why do you think people use rangefinders in practice rounds? Because it's slower? No, like it's just quicker to pull out a fucking rangefinder and zap it. And so I don't think it's going to make scores lower. I think like they already have the information. Like we've been playing this game for 400 something years. You really think that they were just people haven't figured out how to get really accurate yardages? Like, of course they have. So now you can just get those numbers quicker.
Yeah, to me it seems like a no-brainer. I can't imagine being on the side of saying it slows it down. It's the same information that they would be getting or gathering, like you're saying, with some sort of process, whether it's they get it the day before, they walk to a sprinkler head, they see where the pin placement is, all that stuff. Now you just shoot and go. You just know the number. How could anyone say that that's slower?
It's like, what takes longer if you have to do a long division problem? If you have to write it all out on a piece of paper or you can use a calculator, which one's going to take longer?
Exactly. It's just you plug in a couple numbers and you go on your way. I mean, I don't.
That's well said, Trent. Actually, that just made a lot of sense to me.
Completely agree. And I think that pretty much sums it up. I think the artistry thing is crazy. It's like there's no, I saw somebody's like, it's going to take out the beauty of the conversation between player and caddy. No, it isn't. Is that conversation ever, hey man, do you think like 11 minus 3 is 8, or do you think it's 7? Like that's never the conversation. The conversation always, okay, here's the number to the pin. Here's the number to the front edge. Do you think it's a hard 7 or like a soft cut 6? Because it's never like a serious debate about one's mathematical knowledge. Like it's just, that's never the debate. That's never the interesting conversation. So you're taking the same information and you're just allowing them to acquire it quicker.
Do you think slope and elevation will be allowed or no? Or
No.
is that it wasn't allowed? Okay.
No way. But
No.
hold on, but Riggs, I'm still saying like the range of miss for a caddy, like I'm certainly on the side that it's going to make things move way faster. I do think though that the range of miss with a caddy right now has got to be, I don't know, between 2 and 5 yards on any given shot. And maybe the 5 is too much, but like, I do think there is definitely a range of miss that the caddy has when they're thinking through numbers of where they are on the course. Certainly when they spray it left or right, and they're trying to triangulate, from the center of the fairway to the green. And I think a rangefinder is only going to help. I mean, when you talk about like the next shot in, what that number is, maybe they can be more dialed into the pin rather than playing at the center of green and two putting. Like, I think there's definitely a side of that, which I feel like you don't. I feel like that you're thinking that they have that number pretty dialed in. And I think you think the range of miss is much less than what I think.
Yeah, I think it's negligible. I think like if there is a
Yeah.
small number that there's a difference in accuracy, that it's negligible and won't in any discernible way be reflected in the numbers. I don't think like there's no way to me that like Joey LaCava isn't as accurate out there as a fucking rangefinder. Like I think he's pretty fucking accurate.
That would be an amazing piece of content. I want to see, like, if we drop Joey LaCava on Pebble,
But also,
and we put him in the rough, and he's already done his numbers, and the pin's in the back right, how dialed in is he?
but here's what you have to understand: when somebody misses a fairway or sprays one way left or right light, their shots aren't dialed into yardage accuracy, anyways. Like if you give Tiger 117 from the middle of the fairway with a perfect lie, yes, that accuracy is going to be discernible from the results. If Tiger's behind a fucking tree 192 or 186 yards out in the rough, those 4 or 5 yards don't matter. Like he's trying to hit some low thing that lands in the front edge and like hopefully dribbles out. So I think like in terms of where you would really see a difference in the accuracy if the caddy was off by 2 or 3 yards won't actually reflect in the numbers, because on those shots, that information from a sprinkler head to the front is so dialed in for the caddy, and the player can be so dialed in. And the further away you get from that, the higher dispersion the player is going to have in his accuracy anyways.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, anyways, we'll find out. I certainly think it's the right move. Like,
Yeah.
it just helps everything. And yeah, the days of like, I don't know, people walking 100 to 150 yards like up there and then coming back are just gone. And to Trent's point is like, yeah, we have calculators. Like we don't need to do long division anymore. Like, let's just get past it.
Just it's another example of golf very slowly coming into like 21st century, and they're just going to start using more stuff that other sports and leagues have like really just jumped in the deep end with. Like baseball, everyone misses the fucking bang bang play at first base, so we just have replays now and everything can be challenged. We can use all the technology. Like, yeah, like there's some sort of sweet fucking history and feeling about having this stuff, but if we have the technology, we have these things that can shoot laser beams at let's just use them, right? Like it's fucking really cool technology. These guys use them literally on Wednesday and you're not allowed to use them on Thursday. Crazy to me. Fucking do it. I don't really care. I'm not getting worked up about it.
It is funny watching news like this break in the golf world, because you'll see it. When people quote tweet the news, you obviously see their reaction first before you see the bit of news. And you would have thought yesterday that like reading there was like crazy. Like we're changing everything about the entire sport. Everything's going to be different from here on out. And then you go down, they're like, a PGA of America is going to let them use rangefinders. You're like, okay, that's fine. Let them do it.
Like if rangefinders were just brand new on the scene and it was like 1990 and they were like, yep, put them in play, then I could see it being a bigger conversation. But like rangefinders, everyone's been using rangefinders now for dozens of years. Like it's not like it's some new crazy unknown that's going to wildly change the game. And then another really interesting dynamic is the caddy part. And like on one end, you could argue, well, now a caddy who's really good with yardages is going to be less valuable because you're just leveling the playing field. But the other side of that, which I would probably be on, which is like, well, who wins the tournament shouldn't be more about the accuracy of a caddy. It should be more about like the accuracy and execution of the player. So like you shouldn't, right? Like if there's a really young professional who Monday qualifies into a tournament, he doesn't have any money. Therefore, he can't afford one of the best caddies, but he playing well and he gets down the stretch on Sunday and he's going up against a guy who's made 20 million, who can't afford the best caddy. Like that guy should really be at a disadvantage because the other guy has someone that's able and more experience. Like how much should a caddy play into the actual results of a tournament? Not to like diminish caddies, but it's an interesting element to discuss. And I saw JT, Justin Thomas, tweeted earlier today or yesterday, clearly saying that like defending caddies, that like ultimately, no, I think caddies should be really important. So I think that leads to an interesting discussion.
Yeah. I mean, I think certainly like, I think they get comp like 10% of winnings. I think like if they're 10% of the outcome, I think that's pretty fair. And certainly paying for like a Stevie Williams or one of those individuals that does the work and knows distances and is highly recommended with green readings and just his thought process of navigating a golf course. Like I don't want to discredit that at all. Like I love the idea of them being a team. Like golf is a very singular sport, but like John Rahm needs a caddy and he needs a caddy to diffuse situations. And like, I think there's value to them and there's strengths and weaknesses to everybody. And some caddies need to be stronger in some areas. Like John Rahm's might need to be a bomb diffuser. And, somebody else's might need to just like tell them a distance and that's all they care about. So it is an interesting point. And yeah, knocks a little bit of the distance, but it's just the right move. I mean, if we're talking like distances to green, like they're doing it one way or another. And if the biggest knock on golf is pace of play and it just takes too long for them to get around, and this speeds it up by even, a minute, or if you're going to say like 3 seconds a shot, well, that's just worth it. It's just the right avenue to go.
Yep.
Yeah, the 10% part's a good point where like if that's what they've been valued at, then yeah, that's a huge part of the outcome, and therefore having a really good one versus a average one or a shitty caddy probably should affect play because the market has determined that they're worth around 10%. So that's actually a very good point, which I'm surprised by because
here comes something.
You don't have that. So
I mean, just check it out there.
Kidding, just kidding. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch and see if the PGA Tour or USGA also adopt it, or if there's just one tournament a year where the guys and girls can use rangefinders. So we'll see how things pan out.
Seth Waugh being he's just a normal, regular dude that just knows how to get things done. Not saying the other people, like our friends over at the USGA, don't know how to get it done, but Seth Waugh just knows what's going on, man. That guy's been in all sorts of different environments and fields and all this stuff. He's just like, let's let these guys use some fucking rangefinders, right? Like he just gets it.
And I think we're all pretty much like, yep, no brainer. Let's move on. In terms of the rangefinder, I don't see a reason for people to be complaining and arguing or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what the data provides in terms of pace of play and scores and all of that. Dustin Johnson. So DJ won in Saudi Arabia this past week, and then he's on to Pebble, except he withdrew. So he's got a long history at Pebble. He's played there a ton. He's won there. He almost won the U.S. Open there when he had his the triple that he made in the second hole. Very clear to most people that like going from Saudi Arabia to Pebble Beach, California, jet lag kind of ruins your whole week. And he's supposed to go play in a golf tournament. So he just stopped by Florida on his way and was like, nope, I'm just going to stay here. Withdrew. Pretty obvious, makes millions of dollars to go play in Saudi Arabia. However, with a lot of and I don't want to turn this into a full geopolitical show, but with a lot of the PR around the Saudi Arabian thing, and then it clearly affecting the strength of field at the PGA Tour event, this has got some people talking that they're not particularly happy about this.
I Dustin Johnson, he's just like, I won. I don't want to play right now. That's the vibe I got. I get that the jet lag, and that is probably a motherfucker of a trip to then go play golf for another weekend. But I mean, the field this weekend is weak. There's no top 10 players at all. Like the favorite to win right now is Patrick Cantlay. No offense to Patrick Cantlay. He's a phenomenal player, but for that to be like the number one guy spearheading your tournament as the betting odds favorite, it's just not great. And I love this weekend. I think everybody does. The views at Pebble are immaculate as ever, but it's just going to be strange with such a weak field.
It's interesting to knock fields coming from the John Deere and whatnot, but yeah, Cantlay's 11. I would say he's not really a needle mover, but
we do the best we can. We do the best we can at the John Deere Classic.
Not good enough.
The views are just like Pebble. It's very.
I love it. One thing I love about the John Deere Classic is, especially their Twitter account, they have their guys, right? So like when Stricker was playing well this past weekend, the John Deere Classic Twitter handle is alive and buzzing, and they just own their guys, and I respect the hell out of that.
100%. It is. They've got some camaraderie around their guys. Like if you're one of their guys, certainly like anybody who's done well there, they're promoting the hell out of. And they're grabbing an ankles trying to pull them back for next year. Because I will say one of the things about the John Deere feels like if you win, you're not coming back.
Dude, if Spieth
It's a launching pad, dude.
if Spieth, I'll say that if Spieth or Stricker or Zach Johnson are ever down in the dumps, just go hang out in fucking wherever bumfuck that tournament is, and they're gonna be a king in that whole county.
Quad.
It's Silvis, Illinois. It's the Quad Cities. It's a little unfortunate that Spieth is playing so well because he could use the tune-up at the John Deere Classic if he wanted to. I'm telling you. But here's the thing: if Spieth ever goes back to the John Deere Classic, it'll be phenomenal. He'll probably win it because the field is never that great. He should. If he really wants to make this comeback complete, if he wants to get a win under his belt, go to the John Deere Classic. That's a no-brainer.
I'll say, like, if he went back there though, and he runs the risk of, if you go play in the John Deere Classic and you miss the cut, don't they like take your tour card? You're just not allowed to play for the rest of the year.
That's not true. No, that's those accusations are not true.
You're just kicked off the tour.
Isn't it amazing how poor that tournament is ran? That someone like Tony Finau that just can't get a win under his belt. He's been fucking grinding out here, just doesn't go join that tournament and just like dominate it and get a win. Like you're saying, like Spieth should just go there and just get a win. It's just a free win.
I'm not denying any of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, Trent's eyes just lit up the idea of Tony Finau at John Deere in the Quad Cities.
That is, if I'm the John Deere, that is 100% the selling point for the biggest of the stars. We just need one. And if you go to Tony Finau and say, hey, man, you keep finishing second, it's a little awkward now. You're trying to get a win, and it's just not happening. Why don't you come to Silvis? We'll put you up in a nice, Holiday Inn, and we'll get you a win. And then if the thing's broken, the floodgates open.
Might as well join a member guest. It's like fucking. I mean, he's not fucking going to the Quad Cities. With Dustin Johnson, I just want that fucking Saudi money speaks to people, man. And like, that's a lot of money to go over there and fucking win a golf tournament. And I know that people get mad about fields and the courses and the tournaments and the sponsors and the fans, and everyone wants to see the best fields. But I mean, you see this in every sport. If LeBron James is coming to the Charlotte Hornets, everyone's like, holy fuck, we're going to go spend $1,000 on this Lakers game. And then he just sits. Everyone goes fucking crazy. But like, it's just the way the world works. Like, this guy's fucking grinding all around the world, the continents. He's going from fucking Saudi Arabia to Florida to Pebble Beach. If the money speaks to these guys, they're always going to take it. That's just how the world works. That's how sports work. And he saw the money. He fucking won the golf tournament, made a shit ton of money. And, that's just what it is. And it sucks for people at Pebble, but it's always going to happen. And people are always going to get mad about the same shit. They never see these guys as human beings ever.
No.
Do they publicize the Saudi Arabia appearance fees?
I think that the report was, I'm not sure if this is publicized or guessed or leaked, but I want to say DJ got paid like a $3 million appearance fee. Then he wins the tournament, so he gets another million or so. So he's making $4-ish million based on the stuff that we're just to go play in Saudi Arabia. Well, I mean, he won, but to go over there and play. So on a human level, and they've, a few of the players have spoken out about this. And yes, Saudi Arabia has a horrible history of what goes on there and the way that they treat women, and the latest with the journalist a few years ago who was assassinated. Like, that stuff's horrible. But they've all said, we're not politicians. Like, I'm a golfer. So if someone creates a golf tournament, they're going to pay me money, which, by the way, the way we keep score in society is money. That's literally like what we do. That's how you buy houses. That's how you pay for your kids. That's how you do everything. If they're going to pay me money to go play in a golf tournament, which is my profession, I'm going to go there and do it. And a lot of these people, people that are complaining or upset about it, if you're a sales guy and your company's like, hey, we got this really interested client from Saudi Arabia, you just got to go over there for a week and take this meeting, and you're going to make $500,000 a commission. Who the fuck do you think's not taking that because what they read in the Wall Street Journal wasn't favorable? You're on some level, sure, certain people might, but overall, the vast majority of people are going to do that. And ultimately, that's not their job to make political statements, to be role models. We've seen people all the time, their job on a level is to go play golf and make money doing it. And so you can't, yes, you can say that maybe you wouldn't do it that way, or you have a different set of criteria that you would base your decisions on, but to viciously criticize others for something that, again, is not what they're professionally or even personally expected to do, which is to make these political statements or judgments. They're just doing their profession, making their decisions, making their schedules, and trying to make money playing golf, which is their job. how can you knock somebody for that?
Especially when their peers are joining these tournaments, and there is a tournament for him to join that he is a part of. It's like his establishment is allowing him to go there. It's not like he fucking made this thing up himself, or all these, like, they're like, hey, there's this tournament, we're gonna pay money, and if you guys want to come play, you can play. Yeah, I don't see the backlash on that stuff. And also the other thing on a human level, where for him not playing in Pebble, I mean, Robbie Fox went to Saudi Arabia, right? Is that where he went for the MMA?
He went to Dubai, I believe. Wasn't that Dubai?
Dubai. Is Trent looking right through us? Can Trent hear us?
I wish I just don't know where Abu Dhabi is. I have no idea.
Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi and Dubai are part of the UAE, which is much friendlier and more progressive version of the Middle East. They're still not flawless. Their like overall treatment of women and everything is not like flawless, but they are like Dubai as a city is essentially like a conservative European city. It's like, you know, you got a ton of stuff going on there. Whereas Saudi Arabia is about as like conservative for that religion and old school and also like corrupt in terms of like Saudi kings running the show as you could possibly be.
Gotcha. I was going to talk about the jet lag, like from coming over there. Like Robbie Fox said that yeah, when I brought that up, I didn't get into Saudi kings and all that, but it's a good point to make. Like you have to make the connection, because there is a huge difference. And I would just say, like, people that come over there, and we experienced that with Australia, like you don't get back to normal for a legitimate week. So for him to come out there and compete and all this stuff, I mean, this guy may just want to just fucking lay down on a beach somewhere and just not give a fuck about the world while he sleeps all day.
Yeah, but the other side is like there might be like mattresses and masseuses the way they travel. It's not like they're sitting upright for
that changes anything. I don't know if the actual travel changes. Like I think it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. Like if that helps at all. Like if there was any science or whatever behind that. Because I hear you. Like if you stay on like certain hours of living, like if he stayed on Eastern Standard Time, which would be probably physically impossible during the time, then like no. But I feel like it's got to help a little bit. I mean, have you ever flown first class? Have you ever done that?
No.
No.
Dude, I did it one time from San Francisco to New York. And I will say that experience of like pretty much lying flat down is a real game changer.
Big man's just looking to lay down.
I mean, it was incredible. Dude.
Crazy,
incredible.
They go over to fucking like his family's place and they're flying across the globe. They're just in a bedroom in that video, in that movie. That looks nice. I can get behind that, where you just have a full bed, you have a TV, you have a closet like that.
Yeah, that makes a difference. Like you can't tell me that doesn't make a difference with jet lag.
Yeah, but flying 18 hours, like I don't know. 18 hours is gonna mess you up no matter what, and you don't have that much time. Like by the time he would get there, you know, it would be what, Tuesday, Wednesday, and he's all messed up, and then he's got to go play a golf tournament. Like it's so emotionally and like mentally draining to play golf. So I don't know. I spoke to a guy
when we landed in Australia. If we had to do anything, we played golf, but imagine we had to do anything of competition or like where our reputation was at stake, where people were watching us do something. Imagine that feeling when we got off that plane, going in front of human beings and having to perform anything, podcast, anything. We wouldn't have been able to do it.
I mean, sitting on the green after the round when we were talking about like the last 48 hours, call it, of our life, was maybe the most tired I've ever been. Like that was the last couple holes, like the match was over, we were all exhausted. That was maybe the most tired that I've ever been. And so to think that he would have to do that and then continue to do that for the next 3 days and do something elite is, yeah, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah, I was speaking with a guy who's an agent for some golfers who were lesser than DJ's status, but he was making the point.
That's everybody.
Like, yeah, it's everybody in the world.
for more of an average golfer who gets asked to go play in the Saudi event, and that their appearance fee isn't $3 million, but it might be a couple $100,000 or several $100,000, that their consideration for that, they like, while that's definitely more than they would make in an average week playing on the PGA Tour, that they have to factor in, he said, like around 3 weeks, it's like actually a 3-week commitment. He said, because like on the front end, like traveling there, playing in the tournament, then returning with jet lag and all that takes up like two and a half to 3 weeks of like a PGA Tour. So he's like, even though you might make 400 or 500K just for going over there, that they calculated out over 2 or 3 PGA Tour events, and are you definitely guaranteed to now make more, and was it worth it to travel all the way over there? Now, in DJ's case, like 3 million, and the appearance fee is a little crazy, but those calculations are interesting.
DJ could now take the rest of the year off, and he'd be okay from a money standpoint in terms of earnings. If
Right.
that appearance fee that you talked about is real, which I believe that it probably is, like I really think a big part of it, he's like, okay, if he finishes in second or third or fourth in Saudi Arabia, is he playing this week at Pebble?
I don't think money's like a factor to him anymore. No.
I think they probably project their seasons and where they want to be at the end of a season. I know like some of the guys we know have done that. Doesn't like Kiz have like a goal of what he wants to achieve when it comes to money and paying his guys and stuff? So I feel like if you make 4 million in 1 week, I think that opens up some weeks and weekends for you. Like
you hope
their projections are like, all right, we can take this one off actually, because we were planning to make 800K this week with a top 25 finish or whatever. We just made 4 mil in fucking Saudi Arabia. Let's hit the beach, Paulina. I don't know.
I sort of agree with you, Lurch, that money doesn't matter to Dustin, but it also, I think it matters. I think it's everything to everybody. Like Rick said, like that's sort of the scoreboard. Like, yeah, Dustin, I mean, he could put the clubs away now and be good for the rest of his life, but I still think everybody wants more always.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he's at this point, he's thinking about probably his kids and, how he can help his family and others. Cause obviously he's got enough discretional income to do whatever the hell he pleases for the rest of his days. So maybe for him, it doesn't factor in as much. But maybe it does. Obviously genuinely don't know. Riggs, right. And Kisner shared this. When do the checks hit their accounts?
WOD Wednesday, baby.
WOD Wednesday. God, that is
Today,
they're getting DJ bang in his account this morning, 4 mil.
Dustin's drinking a pina colada on a beach in Florida, and he's like, "Oh shit, we just made $4 million."
And you think I'm flying across the country to play Pebble? No, I'm just not going.
Although I would imagine that appearance fee hits the bank account a little bit earlier. I want like half up front.
True.
Yeah. True. I think that's probably right. Taser. The Taser Strike Light is a rechargeable, high-powered flashlight that can repel an attacker through its electric stun feature. Look, there's some bad people out there. There's people out there that want to do bad things to you. You need to be able to protect yourself. You're not gonna walk around with a gun. What are you in a Western movie? Are you in a no? You need the Taser Strike Light. I think Lurch just went and acquired one right now.
No, I've got a body cam that I'm rocking right now.
Ooh, okay.
Axon. Body cam.
Axon.
Extracurricular activities too.
Two-way authentication, public and officers.
Look at this guy. All right, this is too much to handle now.
Oh my gosh.
That's an Axon product?
Yeah. It's insane. So this is virtual reality training. And so we're remastering these like remote controls to be a taser and then also a Glock. And so it's just a different avenue for officers to train. They have like plenty of amazing avenues, but hopefully this will be a new way to assist them in all their training efforts.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really cool. So like when you talk like, to gain empathy, like maybe we lose it. Somebody's got Alzheimer's. Well, how do you deal with that individual? So
wow,
I'm huge, big time pro on it. I think
this is where all your futuristic bullshit comes into play big time. This is what we're looking for. And
thought space.
What you say?
Leader in the thought space.
Thought space?
What's the word? Leader in the space? Is it thoughts?
A thought leader. That's Rick Smith. He gives the people what they want. He gets people so fired up about what's going on at Axon that it's tremendous. Leads come flying in after he speaks somewhere.
So for the people, Axon is the parent company of Taser. Axon works with law enforcement to advance the technological abilities and to make their jobs better, easier, able to be out there, protecting the people, protecting our country, protecting our Constitution, really. And the Taser, which the Taser Strike Light, make sure to pick up a Taser Strike Light or Taser Pulse Plus. Go to taser.com, use promo code Barstool for 15% off. A limited number of states require a permit for use. That's how you know it's the real deal. And Taser products cannot be purchased for personal use in Hawaii or Rhode Island. Again, you go to taser.com, use promo code Barstool. You get 15% off. The Taser Strike Light. I mean, these things are great. This is when Dave Portnoy on the Dave Portnoy show spoke about Taser for a few weeks before ever actually getting his. And then when he finally got his, I think he said the word sick like 30 times. He just said, this is sick. This thing is sick. So it's cool. I've got one. They're really, really cool. And they work. Like you can legitimately repel an attacker. And at some point, I'm going to make a claim. At some point, a member of this show will get tasered. I don't know who or when or where or why, but before we're done here with our little circus, someone's going to get tasered.
Got to be someone with a little more juice on their bones, because if you tase me, my heart's stopping.
Well,
no, you'll be fine. I've offered up to Josh, if there is a taser on a drone, I will be tased by that drone. And now the only person that won't be able to release the taser is Frankie. I think anybody else besides you.
I have a heart condition. Shout out to SVT gang. I can't do it. I'm out.
I had a heart condition when I was a kid.
Yeah, fucking pumping all that blood around that body.
Boom! Exactly.
Yeah.
Growing big and large. Not weak and pathetic.
I've read a lot into not a lot actually. I really haven't read that much into it, but I've seen a couple of articles about how fucking efficient these pro athletes' hearts are, and how their HRV, when you talk about Whoop, their HRV and the amount that their heart beats compared to ours. You would think in a common, just regular brain, you would think that a more healthy person's heart would beat more, because it's healthier, but theirs beats less because it's stronger and it shoots more blood at a stronger rate. To me, that's like my heart rate when I am sick or something goes so fucking high, and I've sent it to guys NHL players and they're like, dude, my heart rate when I'm just sitting around is 50 to 60 less beats per minute than you. It's not even close.
That's the thing.
They're machines.
Yeah, that's what I think is so cool when they're resting. Their heart is so strong and just pumping blood around their body that it doesn't have to do much. Exactly. It's relaxed. Where ours, I'm still stuffed with donuts. My body's trying to push blood around.
Our hearts are
stuff out of the way.
Ours is
nonstop.
It's over. It's I'm tired and I'm done. And there's
I think we talked about it before, but Lance Armstrong at his peak was 12 beats per minute, where it's just
crazy.
Yo, speaking of tasers, I want to tell a really quick story about my experience yesterday at Torrey. I would have liked to have a taser yesterday. I didn't need it, luckily. But anyway, I'm at Torrey Pines. We're filming for Behind the Greens. We're getting some fucking fantastic shit out here. And it's kind of I don't know, San Diego has its own weather system in which it's kind of cloudy, and then you look at the weather app and you're like, oh fuck, it's gonna be a shitty day, and then at 3:00 it's just perfect and it's the most beautiful sunset of all time. It's kind of like how Florida, it always rains every day and then stops. I feel like this is the common San Diego this time of year, and it's the same thing every day. So yesterday we were doing that. It was super cloudy, didn't know what to do. All of a sudden the fucking sun came out. It was hot. It was beautiful. Orange sun is coming down or whatever. And I throw this drone up, and it's the perfect lighting where the trees are black because it's getting exposed. You're basically focusing on the sunset, so everything in front of it is silhouette, right? And I'm with fucking E-Bug. I'm like, bro, we have I'm flying this drone, and it's actually Riggs's drone that he broke in Tommy Fleetwood video. We got it back. Riggs sent it to me because my drone broke when we were filming something at National Golf Links. The whole thing, that's another story. But I'm paying attention to this drone and I'm like, Ebo, we got the shot. This is it. I could picture it being the opening shot of Behind the Greens. It's going around this tree, the sunset's coming at me, and all of a sudden it's in a fucking tree, another tree that we just didn't see. And I'm like, no way is this happening to me right now. It's going around like a fucking pinball, comes down, lands on the grass. I'm like, no way. Dude, these sensors didn't go off. I'm like, what is happening to this drone that it doesn't alert you that something's coming up? So we go over there and everything was structurally perfect. Nothing happened to the drone. I was like, fine. The only thing that we realized as we started flying, it was like this wing or this leg or arm. Lurch, what do you call, like, is it a leg? Is it like the thing that just like has the propellers on it?
Probably an arm.
The wing of it, or yeah, an arm. Yeah.
I guess,
So-
yeah. Well, you wouldn't say a bird has arms.
No, it's got to be a wing.
It's got to be a wing, probably.
Yeah, that back right wing. Anyway, it was just a little loose. And I'm like trying to figure out, like, so like as I flew it, it would hit like the battery pack. Like it just wasn't in its right spot. So something got loose in there. I'm like, fuck, man, I got 3 days here at Torrey Pines. I'm the worst with this shit. Like people don't know this behind the scenes. I've been losing footage and killing drones. I've been on such a bad streak with this shit. And it's amazing, knock on wood, that I've never really fucked up anything for Dave Portnoy. Like ever. Like never once has like a video died or I've lost a file. Knock on fucking wood. I'm going to keep knocking on wood. But for myself, I've been a nightmare. We went to Cherry Valley. We filmed in 2-degree weather as they resculpted a par 5, and I lost all the footage. I lost all the footage after it as this guy was excavating a par 5 because I went to go take the fucking thing out with frozen fingers and the mini SD card snapped in half. That was a nightmare. We went to National Golf Links, filmed these guys fucking shoveling out one of the biggest snowstorms they've had in recent years around the fucking windmill, all this stuff. We're doing it for a winter series. We're going to end up putting that out, but I flew a drone into the side of a fucking building because the wind knocked it in. And so I've just been on such a bit. So now I do this at Torrey. I'm like, Brendan, I'm just going to jump off the cliff. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like I'm a nuisance to the world and this podcast and the content that we're trying to create. I can't get it done. This is 3 videos in a row that I've just broken. So anyway, I go online. There's just like easydronerepair.com or something like that. And I call this guy and he's a fucking dick to me. Like he was he was just like, yeah, I don't know who you think you are that you can just drop a drone off and get it fixed. Like there's like 100 drones here. Like I was like, okay, I don't know. I just like don't know anything about fixing drones. So see you later. Like I just called you. Your fucking website is called like drone.
You need to record these calls. When you have a call with someone like that, you got to record them.
Yeah, that'd be a good highlight tape.
It was fucking insanity the way he was talking to me. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just like asking questions. Like, do you not help people on the phone like that don't know really what you do?
I need to hear it. Can we get him on the show? I want to hear his side of the story.
He was just a fucking dick. No, that guy's gone, right? So now I give up. I'm like, this thing's loose. This wing's loose. I'm going home. I'm booking a flight tomorrow. I don't even want to be here because I don't want to see that sunset tomorrow and not be able to drone it. I'm like, I'm fucking gone. I go on the website one more time, another website, and there's this guy named Han. It's called repairadrone.com. And I got to give this guy a shout out because he has these 3 locations and they had no location. It just said San Diego, it said Orange County and something else and like no building. So he emails me because I put a request in and he's like, if you want to drive that drone up to Orange County, like it takes 2 hours, like to my house, like I will fix that drone for you tonight. And I was like, this is weird. Like, this is where the taser thing comes in. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. So me and E-Bug had no other option. I'm like, we're doing it, bro. It was like 8:30 at night. We're going to get there by like 10 or whatever it was. I don't know. And we're just like, we pull up to this dude's house and he's just the nicest person in the fucking universe. He's like, he has a little sign outside that he put out to let us know that that's his like business. It was called like repair. So that when we pulled up to his house, it would be there. We go to a Taco Bell. We're eating Taco Bell like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Me and E-Bug, we're waiting for him. He calls me like an hour later. He goes, great news. Fixed your drone. Meet me in this parking lot. Now, this is another thing where I'm like, okay, we just went to your house. Why do I have to meet you in a parking lot? He wanted to teach me how to like fly the drone and shoot in RAW. So this guy, Han, is the ultimate. If you're in the San Diego area or Orange County area and you have a drone problem, go to this guy, repairadrone.com. Tell him that Frankie and Barstool sent you because he didn't know what this world was. Turns out he went to college with E-Bug. Really weird fucking world.
Jesus Christ.
What a night I had last night. But I just wanted to give this guy a shout out. He was like super stunned that like we even have that drone because he's like, you don't know anything about this thing, do you? Like he doesn't understand what you do. Like, do you have a license? Do you blah, blah, blah. Like, he's like, where do you shoot? Do you shoot in log? Do you shoot in raw? I'm like, bro, Han, let me tell you something, bro. I've broken 3 of these fucking things. I don't even know how to press record half the time. Like, but we get hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. He's like, no way. I'm like, look at our YouTube page.
No way.
He's like, dude, I know how to fly drones better than anyone in the world. I can't get more than 2 views on like my videos on my Instagram. I'm like, Han, fucking repair a drone, fucking whatever. SensoFly repairs his Instagram. Shout out to that guy who saved Behind the Green. I will put a thank you to him in the credits. Han.
Dude, if you had told me, I got a coworker that lives in San Diego that has a drone that you
Okay.
could have.
Well, see, like that's me and you just don't communicate in like a human
No.
fashion. If we had a better relationship, maybe that
Yeah,
would.
exactly. That's too bad.
I agree with that. You guys should work on it.
California is one fucking sick place. Like driving through those hills and those mountains at night,
Yeah.
you feel like you're gonna fall off a cliff. I don't know how people live up there.
California's sweet. There's no doubt about it. California's really
I'm glad that story has a happy ending, because when it starts off with I needed my drone fixed, so I went to repairadrone.com, and that's how I found how I was getting my drone fixed. That ends with you in a room covered in plastic with a gun to your head. Like,
he sent me the address to just a house, and it was in like the place where there's really no lights. Like it's like a fucking like hills, and like we were looking at the GPS, and it's just like I'm like, oh, maybe it's like Laguna Beach or something. And it was just in the hills. I'm like, boy, oh boy, this guy's he's gonna open up the door and he's gonna be wearing latex. And he's just gonna have a pistol with a silencer on it, just facing me, being like,
he's gonna. It's like, yeah, you just explained Mark Wahlberg at the end of The Departed.
right.
That's right.
I end up in a well, and he says the girl puts lotion on or something with the fucking.
Now that's Buffalo Bill.
Oh yeah, Buffalo. Is it Buffalo Bill?
Anyway, Behind the Green is gonna be really cool, Frank. Sounds like it's gonna be great.
I'm grinding out here for you guys to fucking watch this video. So shout out Han. I have breaking news in the New York world, and I don't know how real this is, but Governor Cuomo just said that the sports and concert venue arenas in New York State can reopen on February 23rd. 10% capacity. You need to show a negative test prior. I don't know how that's going to work, but holy shit. If I'm going to an Islander game at the end of this fucking month at the Nassau Coliseum, I am going to drip ejaculate all over this floor.
Wow.
That's great.
Exciting.
That's just light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, regardless, that's fantastic.
Like 1,300 fans, 1,500 fans, but whatever.
Anything, dude. People just need to get out. Like,
I saw recently that I think we crossed a threshold of more people have gotten vaccinated than have gotten the virus.
That's huge.
yeah, numbers are first starting to go in the right direction. I think that was like a week or 2 weeks ago they announced that, which is amazing.
So look, we're just trying to bring a little positivity right now. We got fucking Han fixing drones. We got, good news. Things are starting to open up a little bit in New York. Numbers are starting to look a little bit better. Still be smart, be safe, wear a mask, but things are starting to look better. So that's fantastic. Okay. From the gallery, foreplay@barstoolsports.com. Send us an email. We've been reading from the galleries for 4 fucking years. Trent and myself have been going through these things, and you guys keep sending good ones. I'm going to start with Dave from Australia, who has a funny little story that resonates with all of us. He said, Frankie, I had a handicap police moment today at NSW is what, that New South Wales, I think, or
New South Wales sounds right, because I put that as one of the society events in 2K recently, actually.
It's like supposed to be one of the best golf courses in Australia. I think it's like the Sydney area, so I could be butchering that, but NSW is what he put, and in Sydney, and had I shot 105 and my handicap is a 1. I think I lost 20 balls over 36 holes. All I could think of all day was my playing partners are thinking to themselves, no way this guy's a 1 handicap, exactly like people do to you guys on the internet. He said, thank you very much for all you guys do. We're huge fans of you guys down here in Australia. Now, Dave, I just wanted to put this in there because we have all fucking been there. And every person that plays golf at any level understands that you can be really solid one day and you can be horrible the next day. And yes, it is extremely frustrating when you know you could play golf at a certain level, yet you go out and you're playing horrible and people don't know your game at all. And you want to scream to them, I swear I can be better. I know I can play better, to the point where Jordan fucking Spieth this past weekend shoots 10 under 61 on Saturday and then posts a 1 over 72 on Sunday. Like, that man who has won 3 majors and like 13 times the PGA Tour can have an 11 stroke difference day to day. You don't think the average golfer can have a 20, 30 stroke difference day to day? Of course you can. So I'm happy that Dave revealed he had a handicap police feeling.
Hate the handicap police. The only police I don't respect. I mean, they're just a joke, it's they don't understand the system, which I admittedly didn't understand the system in the beginning as well. I always thought, like, if you were a 9 handicap, you shot an 81, 80. And like, when people would say that, I'd be like, well, that guy's just lying. Like, he's trying to gain strokes on us, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But for me, I was a 9.7 this year or something like that, or even like closer to a 10 towards the end of the year. And my scoring average was like an 88 or 87. That's like my average. So I had 95s, I had 83s. That's just the fucking way this fucking thing works. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I have a lot of bad rounds on camera, but I also play so many weekends and weekdays, whatever. Every Monday with my dad, I shoot at 84, 83. I hate the fucking handicap, please. Why would I lie about my handicap and make it like, they say that I should have it be a 15, but I like that means that I would be getting more strokes and winning more matches and stuff like why would I lie the other way? Why would I go lower? Why would I reverse sandbag?
Yeah, that makes no sense. It is weird though, that feeling that comes over you, because like I think everybody in this room's been there where like oh, what's your handicap? And then you're just playing really bad that day. And then you like you have this weird feeling where you're like, shit, like I should be better than this, but I'm just not going to be any better than this today. And it's weird that comes over you, but it certainly comes over me. And it's like a weird kind of helpless I don't know. I can't really describe it.
It's a very you feel almost like you're being exposed, but like you feel like everyone else thinks you're a liar in the group, but you're not. You're like, no, like I'm sorry that I'm not currently living up to the number I told you, but I can't. I can't. I have before on other occasions. I'm just not right now.
I agree with that. Yeah. You feel exposed and almost like they think you lied to them. And it's a very, like, it's not a great feeling. And it's weird that it comes over you because like everybody's felt that.
Yeah. I was getting it a lot with the Genghis video because in the beginning he's like, all right, tell me about your game, your handicap. I was like, I'm a 5 and here's how I play the game usually. And he's like, okay. And then I just immediately, everybody's like, how about Riggs says he's a 5? It's like, no, I don't say anything. I actually plug numbers into an app. And then the app says what I am. I don't say anything. So, and to your point, Frankie, my average score last year was an 82, and I came in as like a 5 handicap. People were doing their math. Like, that doesn't make, no, actually, if you know the system, it does. And we're not trying to say that in a douchey, like, oh, you don't know the system. Like, we didn't know the fucking system until we started using it. And then now we're just fucking over.
I still don't really know the system. I just listen to it and I go by what you're supposed to do with the double bogeys and all this. Like I figure out how to plug in the system and I figure it out and it tells me a number. I only did it because I was playing with buddies who refused. Dude, I was with you guys not having a handicap. I had like the Grint or some stupid shit. Yeah. And it wasn't even real. And you guys are like, you need a handicap. Like, you just need to know what your number is.
Yeah, you just got to, the USG, you just got to get that like the gym. It's the only way to do it. Riggs, quickly on the average score though, because you set a goal this year to be sub 80. And I saw one story that you had like an average of like a 77 and something really impressive. And I didn't know if that's still being held up.
It's not that low, but this is the best golf I've ever played in my entire life right now. And so my average right now is an 80.4.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. That's incorrect because I don't have it selected on 2021 scores. 79.6 is my current at. You guys can't see that.
That's great, dude.
Dude, I'm playing the best. Look how fucking low my handicap is right now. I'm at a 4.2.
Wow. That's great, man. Good for you.
But I've just been playing really well. I put this on my story. I shot a bogey or a birdie-less 75 the other day. So that's like you're just playing pretty good golf at that point. And that's on that talent course that we played the Page and them against where it's like a hard driving hole. And I just had the Sim 2 going that day. So like it just makes golf way easier when you hit it relatively long for you and straight. Now I still like the other day I went out and I probably shot like an 84, but all my rounds before then were solid. So it's like I feel like I'm playing the best golf, Lurch, since those 3 or 4 years after college when we were up at Granite Links all the time and I would go hit balls under the lights. That was probably the best golf I ever played. And now I feel like I'm playing pretty fucking well right now.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that and I was like, damn, even if you have a couple scores in 2021, anytime your average is in the 70s, I would say an elite golfer. Like that is elite. I just looked at mine. My average is I'm just about an 81. I'm a little under an 81. I'm an 80 point, but like I think that's amazing to be in the 70s. I loved that goal when you set it I don't know, that could have been a year ago. That could have been whenever, honestly. But that's I give you an applaud for that.
I appreciate that. It's very weird that you guys are clapping for me because usually we just roast each other on this show. But I had a very funny like juxtaposition between the internet and the handicap police in real life the other day where I played with the golf rabble guy. I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram, but he's a huge golf nut. He's got like 100,000 followers. I think they're from Utah. They were out here during Waste Management Week, and they asked me to play around with him and a couple buddies. Very, very, very nice crew. And I played 9 holes with him. And I was like, right before I met up with them, I'm scrolling through my Instagram comments, and all of them are like, worst, ugliest fucking swing in the world. How about this scumbag claims he's a 5? Endless comments. And then I'm waiting for these guys to roll up to the 10th tee. We play, and on hole like 5, the golf rabble guy's like, Riggs, like, you're a player, man. Like, wow. Like, and I think I shot like 38 playing against them again with like no birdies. And he was just like, man, I've been watching online. I like love your stuff, but like, you're a fucking player right now. And the juxtaposition between real life and what you're looking at on the internet can drive a man insane for sure.
Yeah, it's a nightmare out there. It's a fucking, we're in the trenches, but you know what? If being in the trenches lets us do what we get to do, then fine. I'll sign me up all day. I mean, there's just as many people on the good side as the bad side. But I mean, yeah, people think that we're reverse sandbagging, which is such a weird thing that I don't know who in their right mind would ever want to do. Like, there's no sense in me saying that. So yeah, that's some good golf you're playing, Riggs. I'm playing Torrey Pines while I'm here, South Course. I have not hit a golf ball since we were at the Kingdom, and I learned my new swing. I have not made contact with a golf ball since I learned this like abbreviated follow through, that new tip with the fucking glove. So I'm a little excited to get out there and just see if it's still there. I mean, I've done a couple of swings in my room. Like, I don't know if it's still there. It feels weird. I can't wait to hit like the range and see if it's there. And then on the first tee, the South Course looks like a fucking bear. Like, I've been flying around the drones, and the wind is always in your face no matter what hole you're on. And I don't know. I'm just a little nervous. It just feels like I'm going to play pretty poorly. I don't know. What do you guys think I'm going to shoot out there? I mean, it's like breaking 90.
What's your goal, right? Because it's an adjusted goal. Like if you were playing fucking Eisenhower or whatever that you always chirp, your goal is probably to break like 80. But you're playing Torrey Pines South a couple months before the U.S. Open. Your goal's got to be mid 80s.
I mean, I would love to breaking 90 would be a great day out there. If I come in with an 88 on the card at the Torrey Pines South with like an overcast and wind coming off the ocean, I had a great day. I hit drives. I made a couple bogeys. I maybe made a double bogey because I skull fucked one over the green, but I also made a couple pars. I hit a couple greens. That's a good day on the golf course for me. I'm sorry.
I think you're going to break 90.
I do too.
I have the mindset of breaking 90. The only thing that's getting in my head, I'm not a real golfer right now. Everything's been in my room. I've been putting on the putting mat that we have. I've been taking swings. So I'm not an actual golfer. The one thing that's fucked me up is Joel Damon, that motherfucker. I saw on your Instagram story, you played with him the other day, Riggs, and he just changed his putting grip. Now you can't do that to me. So we played Joel Damon in a scramble, and he taught me this new hockey putting grip that he said he was working on and that he was using. So I just changed my game to do that, because when a pro tells you to fucking change something or try something, you do it. I made a couple putts when we played Joel Damon. I got fitted with that new grip, like everything, all my stats, the way they were reading everything was with that new grip. And he just, in the videos with Riggs, he just doesn't have that grip anymore. So now I feel like an idiot that I'm sitting out here with some fucking old ass shitty grip that probably doesn't work anymore. That he's now assessed that putting grip and said, I am changing it. He does the claw now, from what I saw.
I think it's just a feel thing, Frankie. So just relax yourself. Your game can be elite. It can also be horrible. Just think it's going to be elite the whole time.
Right. I'm less confident in you breaking 90 after that.
Yeah, that was
we abandoned for a second the fact that you're a mental nut job on the golf course, and we thought, maybe you'd be a little sound. Your game from what I've seen the last 2 times out. So we were in Florida and we filmed all day, and then we were at the Kingdom and we filmed all day, and you're over on my left, and you were just flushing the golf ball. So I expect pretty good things from you.
I do think you need to try this time when you're golfing, just keep a positive attitude. Try it as hard as you can. Fight your negative neurotic brain and see what happens.
All right. I'll update the people. I'll take some videos out there and we'll see how we do. But yeah, I'm a little nervous. You know who's rooting for me to get better is Kevin Kisner. I woke up at like 3:00 in the morning because I don't know what time he's on or whatever, but I woke up to a text this morning and he's just like, my teacher JT wants to get you right. Like, I don't know I don't know how that conversation came up, but it just came out of nowhere to me. He's like, he wants to get you right, and then you play rigs in a match. Like he thinks he can get you like low enough to like compete in a match. I'm like, all right, kids, like I can't fucking compete with rigs. Like I can't even putt around I can't do anything in the short game. He goes, stop chipping and just fucking get your mind right. Putt from around the greens. Like just figure it out. Score low. Like he's gassing me up. I'm like about to go play Torrey Pines South. I got Kevin Kisner gassing me up mentally.
You could become around my level or better but your issue is that mentally you need to understand, and I'm not going to chirp you here. I think it's almost like your course management. You need to understand that like you almost could play like more of a Bubba Watson style of golf, where like Bubba stripes it, and like you can hit the ball well enough that your chipping and putting don't matter that much. Like if you hit it well enough that you can compensate for that. Where I don't hit it that well, but I make up a lot of strokes around the green. So like my goal is just keep it in play, get it up near the green, and I can shoot decent scores. Whereas like you should be like really focused on, I would say even more so like improving your actual swing and like your consistency hitting the ball rather than even thinking about your short game, because your short game's like, it's going to be kind of a disaster unless you made a crazy effort to fix it. Whereas your long game, like if you just honed it in a little bit, I think you can make up a ton of shots.
That's Lurch's game. Lurch stripes the fucking golf ball, and he's one of the worst putters in the world and can still shoot. He has the ability to shoot a 70 or a 71.
Totally.
Yeah, sometimes it goes well.
You even get in the 60s. But if that just goes to show, and you make a good point where it's like ball striking. It's either you have one or you have the other, because if we had both, we'd be pros, right? So like you got to just accept one game or the other, because it's true. I shouldn't, when I get over a fucking chip or like a 30-yard shot, I should just pick the club that I feel most comfortable with, as opposed to like trying to hit the shot that I can't hit. That's the thing that I struggle with. Why don't I take a 7-iron out and just putt it, or like take a putter and just putt it onto the green somewhere, and hopefully I can make a 4 or 5 instead of that 7, that skull fuck into the fucking bushes, and then I take a drop. That's what I have to do.
I agree with that. But I think, Torrey, I think you're going to play well. I have a good feeling. I think you're going to play well. We're all rooting for you, Frankie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. The new normal uniform has a lot of us searching our closets and drawers for men's essentials that simply are not there. Instead of the usual business casual button-ups and jeans, it's soft knit polos, tees, joggers, active shorts, those kinds of things. Whatever men's basics you need, Mack Weldon has you covered with unmatched comfort and fit. I know, Frankie, you're a big Mack Weldon guy and have been for a while.
Yeah, Mack Weldon makes really good clothes. They're sweatpants.
Dude, I hate to interrupt you, Frankie. I bought I bought a million pairs of Mack Weldon socks, and they are hands down the best socks I have ever owned. They are fantastic.
Now, T-Daddy, do you usually rock knee-high socks under your gear?
Yeah, always.
You don't have ankle highs, so you just rock knee-highs?
Yeah.
I think that's more common now.
So now, oh man, I don't think that's common at all. Nobody in just their khakis with like black Nike sneakers rocks knee-high socks, dude.
I disagree. I think I'm with Trent.
You think the world that knows you obviously on the internet, if they closed their eyes and they took off those khakis, they're picturing knee-high socks on you? No.
Are you wearing ankles high socks?
No. Am I? I'm rocking ankle high socks.
Yeah, that with pants, I think that's uncommon.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, we are on two different sides of the coin.
You're also historically a terrible fashion.
Lounging around the house with sweats or pajamas or whatever you want to do, you gotta rock like nice, comfortable white socks, like or Mack Weldon socks. Like that's what I like to do. I like those nice, comfortable socks. They just look like a loungewear. It's a little athletic. You're just walking around the house on the nice tile or the wood floors. But anytime you're in public, for me, it's those socks. Mack Weldon, up the shit, the whole thing.
Like if I'm sitting at my desk at the Barstool office and I kick my feet up onto my desk and my pant leg comes down a little bit, I have worn like ankle high white socks and I look like a child. I look like a little baby child.
Little baby boy.
Little twin.
So then I bought as many Mack Weldon socks as I could fit in my cart, and they had them all delivered. And now when I'm sitting at my desk, I look like an adult, even though I'm not, but I look like one.
Mack Weldon has great socks. They do, but the best thing they do are these sweatpants. And honestly, everyone needs to go look at these things. They are the best fitting sweatpants. You can wear them to a bar. You can wear them to work out. You can wear them anywhere in the world. They have like this really good feeling, a really good fit. And the colors are fantastic. This dark charcoal gray, light gray. They got black. They got blue. I wear exclusively Mack Weldon sweatpants. They are
20% off your first order. You visit MackWeldon.com/4, enter promo code 4. That's MackWeldon.com/4, promo code 4, 20% off. Mack Weldon, reinventing men's basics. Get their sweatpants, get their socks, get all their stuff. MackWeldon.com/4, promo code 4. Sean says, who wins another major first, Tiger Woods or Jordan Spieth?
Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is going to win the Masters or here at Torrey Pines. A magical year is happening. A magical year is happening for Tiger Woods. He got fixed. His back is good. He was wearing shorts at the Super Bowl.
Saw that.
I gotta tell you, I don't appreciate the question because I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win one first. You know that I heard you ask that question and I'm mad at it because I obviously want to say Tiger. I want to say Tiger really, really, really badly. And we've only seen a couple good rounds out of Jordan Spieth, this new and improved, hopefully, going forward, Jordan Spieth. I'm going to say Tiger. I don't know. I don't feel that confident about it, but I want it to be Tiger.
Yeah, I'm going to say Tiger as well, but it's like if I was thinking about it this way, if you're pinned with the question, like, will Jordan Spieth win another major? I think in your head, you say yes.
Yep.
And I think if you're really, truly, objectively like, will Tiger Woods win another major? I don't know that you are as strong of a yes. However, like if you're just going off this next 4 or 5 year window, the answer is Tiger, but also that's Tiger's only window. It's like he's just getting older. So it's a little dicey. Merch?
Yeah, no, I'm that's exactly what went through my head. And I might even be closer to no than yes on both of them, honestly, if either of them will win another major. But as just a fan and wanting Tiger and wanting to see Jack squirm a little bit to get, like, especially in Augusta here early in the year, to get him to 16 would be very exciting. So it's Tiger.
Tiger's also got such in terms of a fan, he's a very emotional domino effect. Like when Tiger won the Masters in 2019, we immediately were like, oh, he's going to win the PGA at Bethpage. He's going to win the US Open at Pebble next year. Like he's going to win everything. And so if Tiger, like right now, it seems like, man, for him to get past 15 is pretty tough. But if he gets to 16, we're going to be like, Jack, smell you later, bro. Like it's over. So he like drives you to such extremes on both ends of sadness and then of hype train. So I'm not sure. Will says, hey Trent, can we please get a biochem update?
Oh yeah. He's the guy who, is he a South Korean player?
I think he's South Korean, and what he had to go in like the military or something, or what he have to do?
No, what happened was, so during one of the tournaments, he flicked somebody off for taking a picture with their camera phone. And I want to say they suspended him for 3 years. I don't know if that's the right number. I can't remember. I wish I was more prepared about my biochem update.
Well, I think it is 3 years. I think it was 3 seasons.
And then I think he appealed it down to 1. So he's still, if I have all this correctly, it hasn't been a year since that happened, or maybe it's close. He is still suspended by his tour because he gave somebody the middle finger for taking a picture of him with a camera phone.
Here's the craziest thing that I found. This article was written in October 2019.
Okay.
And it said Kim's suspension reduced from 3 years to 1 year after obscene gesture. And it says that he will still be fined $8,350 and ordered to complete 120 hours of community service. But the tour's money leader in the 2019 season, Kim will be eligible to return in 2021. All
right, so he's back.
So he's either back or soon his time will have ended and he'll be back. But yeah, he might be back.
Imagine the PGA Tour suspending their top money leader for a year because he gave somebody a middle finger. That's just Dustin Johnson is out for a year because he gave somebody a middle finger when they took a picture with the camera phone. You'd like your tour, the governing body of your professional golf tour, to be more on the side of the players than it is on the person taking a picture with their camera phone. That's just me.
I was pretty stunned at how long ago that was. That was in 2019 that
2020
happened.
was a blip. It's not even a real year. So things from 2019 were real. Nothing real happened in 2020, like with sports, stats, and none of that. So if that makes sense to me that happened in 2018, because that was when you could flip off someone at a golf tournament.
Right, when they were fans.
Yeah.
Annika Sorenstam announced that she's going to make her first start on the LPGA Tour in 13 years. I think that's coming up in a couple weeks, I believe that tournament is. She's got a crazy record, like 72-time LPGA Tour winner and like retired relatively early, relatively young. She's got over $22 million in career earnings on the LPGA Tour. And again, to think that was, she stopped playing 13 years ago. She's got 10 major championships. And then she also is very, very iconic for her swing, where her head moves and her eyes move, as George Gankis was talking about. Like, her eyes are looking at the flag when she makes contact with the golf ball. It's fucking incredible. But she's arguably the best player to ever play the game in the women's game. So she'll be coming back, whether it's sort of, I don't want to call it like ceremonial, or she's like all in on making a full Tiger-like comeback. Who knows? But she'll be back and playing, which is very cool for the women's game. Okay, gentlemen, we got Pebble this week. Pebble's always cool. We get fucking whales and we get all kinds of funny, interesting little commentary from the visuals. The visuals at Torrey Pines when they were there a few weeks ago, and the kind of panning camera shots that they did were awesome. So I expect that they'll have that same sort of action going on at Pebble and Spyglass this week. But it'll be fun, despite the fact that it's kind of a John Deere-esque field. And it's Pebble, so it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. But Jordan Spieth, we've got the Jordan Spieth top 10 bet, plus 325. It's boosted on the Barstool Sports book. So if you're in Michigan, you're in Pennsylvania, get the app, get involved. It should be plus 275. We boosted it up for you. Jordan Spieth top 10 at Pebble, plus 325. But that's all I got. If you gentlemen have anything else,
I'm just looking forward to seeing Clint Eastwood this week. He's the main headliner. I don't know, given the times, I don't know if they're going to put him in the booth, because he's got to be pushing 90, but I hope they bring him out, because the interaction between him and Jim Nance and Nick Faldo are always the best.
Bro, what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago? You tweeted when he was just staring out into the fucking ocean. You're like, I'm pretty sure they just build that set around Clint Eastwood, and he stays there all year long, and they build the tent around him and bring in the cameras. And
funniest thing Trent's ever said. I fucking died laughing at that.
I still am on the side where like he was doing that on purpose, because he that's how off the map he was.
Because they'll say, Jim Nance will be like, "What do you think of that shot, Clint?" He'll be like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." and then they just go back to him and Faldo. Like, it's very interesting the way they do it every year.
That's just laugh out loud. So pay attention to that outside of the golf, and enjoy it. We'll be back on next Tuesday. Hit it hard.
Before we say hit it hard, I want to shout out the name Salvatore. I'm speaking to you. Go to our YouTube page, you Italian motherfucker, and go. I'm sure Sal's are probably all Italian, right? You would assume the majority of Salvatores would be an Italian name. I don't know what the other origins of that name would be, but I'm assuming, because I know a lot of Italian Sals. Go to YouTube, go to Foreplay Golf, and subscribe. And if you already subscribe, unsubscribe and subscribe again. I want all the Sals to be in my DMs, my Twitter DMs, everyone. I want to see this that you have done something with your life. You acted. You paid it back. You paid it forward to Foreplay Golf, and you subscribe to our YouTube page. You watch Tommy Fleetwood play us with a fucking 60-degree in our full bag. Thank you, Sal, Salvatore, Sally.
Billy, I know you're out there listening, you motherfucker. William, Billy,
wow,
Willie, Bill, I don't really care. You're out there listening. Go subscribe to YouTube right now, Foreplay Golf. Thank you.
Adam. Adam, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you just have to do it. We just put out the One Club Challenge with Tommy Fleetwood. He gave us a bunker lesson last week. There's just so much good stuff on our YouTube page that you're crazy if you don't subscribe. So all the Adams out there, I'm talking to you, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I'm going to say if you're a tennis fan, we got the Aussie Open going on right now. If you are a tennis fan and you're sitting there and you're watching a six,
calling out names and you're
and now I'm getting people when I said going to bed the other day, people would text me and say I was laying there in my bed and I was doing nothing. My name's Nick. And I subscribed to the YouTube channel just because in that like moment I was about to fall asleep. So when you're watching a 5-set tennis match for 4 hours, and you're enjoying this great content, you're on your phone, you're checking Twitter, go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel.
It's just unbelievable.
Jesus.
Just unbelievable.
I love you, big man. You're the best.
What are you? Are you upset?
You're making fun of my voice. That's not very nice.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.